Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little furry guy is Apollo, and I'm really happy that y'all joined today. We're going to be taking a look at what's on the horizon. This is the special topic, basically with a focus on new opportunities. Let me put Apollo down and let's chat. So if you're new to my channel or just happen to be scrolling past and saw this is what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to start with channeled messages, and this is basically me connecting with source and bringing through what I saw in dreams and meditation. Then we'll get into a granular 7-day forecast to help us through all of the opportunities in the next 7 days. We'll get a little deeper in each star sign in the elemental forecast, and then the special topic. So first and foremost, I just want to say welcome to everybody, and let's get started here on the channeled messages and really interesting stuff. In fact, I was awakened from dreams by some of this, so definitely some information that I think is going to help you through the week ahead. All right, a learning curve. I think that whenever we begin something new, there's a pressure to kind of like go out of the gate and be perfect. What I saw in my dreams was a passing grade of C, which in the States is like average, 70%. It's not great, it's not bad, but it's showing progress. Very much like the Seven of Pentacles, but I featured the Eight of Pentacles here because this is more the card of learning. And there was this energy that I hadn't felt since I was in school probably or maybe when I was in a job and you didn't get a review that you wanted, but I felt like, I let myself down, I let someone else down, and then I woke up and I thought, no, that's not really the case here. This is because there were all these red marks, and the person that had graded it, this kind of like, teacher in the ethers, was basically saying, you did a good job. There's some work that you need to do that will make this even better. Are you ready to do the work? So I needed to hear the part that like this was a good first start, a good first draft. It's not about perfection. Failure is only if you don't apply the lessons or if you don't listen. And really, it's how you finish, not how you begin something. So any creative project, any idea, we had Ace of Pentacles today is the daily card pull. It's about just kind of opening yourself up to the possibilities and exploring and understanding that the first draft, the first sort of like line that you make on the paper, it may not be the final one or the perfect one, but that doesn't matter. For those of you that are artists out there, you know that you kind of sketch with pencil and you create the geometric shapes first, then you kind of fill it in and paint over top of it. The first stuff looks kind of scratchy and messy, but it's the framework that everything else is built on. So this week you're building the framework, and it may need some additional revision or some additional support on top of it, and that's okay. That's how it works. So give yourself permission to learn. It's a learning curve this week, okay? So first message from Spirit, don't focus on the first grade. You got a lot of other opportunities to quote unquote make the grade, okay? Let's go to the second dream, and this woke me up. So I saw there was this intricate sort of backpack or whatever, basically something that you would wear on the back. And it was, there was a lot of different compartments, and I felt like you were going off to war, to battle or something, and all the stuff you needed was there. So we could kind of think a little bit of the energy of the Fool, but much more locked down. Someone was like, I like your bag, I want it. And there was kind of a smirk as I was watching this exchange. You're like, go for it. Everything was so intricately lined up in there. It was almost like this spider web, and the person's hands got trapped in it and they got very upset. And then they were like, well, I'm going to take it anyway. And then I saw you kind of do this matrix-like kick with your leg, and they jumped away before that happened. It's about protecting yourself, standing up for yourself, but we don't have to go into the physicality of it. In your own life, this can actually just be doing a couple of extra steps, because whoever had designed this bag had all of these ropes and things kind of lined up so that you couldn't open it up unless you knew how to unravel the rope. So in our everyday life, this can be like two-factor authentication on our accounts, an extra lock, or, what is that called, on the main front door, just making sure that there's a deadbolt. That's what that's called. Little things where you make it a little harder for somebody to go after you or your stuff. Secure it down. Take one extra step this week. And just make sure, like if you're parking your car, you're looking at the street saying, wait, is this a good block? Is there a light here? Get it all sort of sorted out, and I feel like you can avoid this. And if you need to push back, you can, but you might also need This is where the strength card is what it is. Sometimes you just say like, no, I said no, you can't have that, or you don't do that, and really stand up for yourself. Because the other person's kind of jumped back and they weren't expecting someone to kind of have that energy of strength. So solar plexus flexing is what I put on the first card there. But that's basically what you want to do. It's your chance to embody power, security, and strength. The cool thing with strength is once you kind of have that energy, people don't mess with it in the long run. And so so there you go. That dream woke me up because I kicked my leg up in the air. And when it came back down, it made a loud noise. And thankfully, Apollo wasn't scared, but it definitely scared me into being awake. Anyway, good times. So some of you needed to hear that you have the ability to push back and that it's okay to make an error, to have a learning curve. That's what it's all about, folks. Let's move into the 7-day forecast now. We're going to look at the next week here. Let me see which deck of cards. I have one on the table. Actually, this one didn't win last week, so maybe it chose it chose itself for today. So we're going to use the Luna deck here. All right, let's focus here on the next 7 days. Thanks everybody for joining. It's good to see you. Yeah, and for those of you that are new, basically what I do the night before a major reading is I'll set an intention to receive visions and dreams that will help. And sometimes they're really specific. Sometimes they're a little bit more obtuse, but this was pretty specific. Particularly the one about making the grade, if you will. I think there's too much focus sometimes that's put into being perfect. So let's not beat ourselves up on that. All right, let me just get ready here. We're going to focus on this Sunday. We have the Knight of Pentacles here. And let me just get this set up here. So the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is basically saying this is a moment in time where you may need to pause for a moment before moving forward and think to yourself, is this, and we talked about reciprocity, that was a big part using the same deck here. So am I getting what I thought I would out of this? Am I putting enough effort into this? This could have also been a reality check from Spirit if you need to kind of like show up with 110%. So the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is just saying, make sure that you like the path that you're on, that you're invested in the activity or the relationship or whatever it is that's in front of you. And if not, then to make a shift, to pivot to the left or to the right, or to go in a different direction altogether if you need to. Once you are aligned with that, then things start to fall together, and then you start to really see some beautiful movement and development when it comes to whatever it is that you set your sights on, okay? There has to be that sense of reciprocity and commitment from your part as well, okay? As we take a look here at the beginning of the week, 7 of Pentacles. I said that the dream was associated with the 7 of Pentacles, but I was kind of pushing you into the energy of the 8 of Pentacles. So 7 of Pentacles, it wants to be seen and heard. Let's talk about it. It's a card where you can't rush things. So the card was reversed, and it's basically saying, this is for my fellow gardeners out there, you know that you can only do so much. Even if you put fertilizer, like in a pot or, you're trying to grow a garden, you can actually do too much and you can cause the plant to wither. So it's about just the right amount of effort, and at a certain point, being patient with yourself, being patient with others, and not overextending. So the one area of opportunity where you can make it easier on Monday is saying no to something that just isn't, you're not feeling it or it's not worth it, so that you can then put the energy into things that are. And then again, when it comes to recovery of finances, heart, or your own body, you have to sort of like give it time to heal, okay? Patience and a little bit more pickiness, discernment when it comes to what you put your time and energy into, because financially speaking, this card comes through saying don't overspend, don't extend. So that's the one place that you can kind of do a little bit of extra work and diligence. Otherwise, you're on the path of growth, and that's basically what this card shows. Just may not be at the speed you would like, right? Okay, focusing on your Tuesday message, it's opening up, enlightening sort of energy here because Eight of Swords is reversed, but there could still be some doubt or some frustration with what you're seeing because it was unexpected. The reason I read reversals is it radically changes Eight of Swords. This means you can't see anything. This means that you're seeing something, but it's unexpected, maybe unwanted, but it's nonetheless in front of you. So there was someone that was like, for 5 days in a row or something, they kept putting an angry note. Why do you read reversals? I don't like reversals. Why are reversals coming through? I just blocked because it was too much noise. But the reason that I read reversals is because it helps us see shadow energy. It helps us see opportunities. Sometimes it shows us that things are getting better. And so focus less on the reversal, more on the message, because it's like a fixation on why are you using the letter W? To me, this is one letter, this is a different letter, and it gives us different messages. So just answering that in a large form so everyone knows why I read reversals, it's because I can and I'd like to. All right, Eight of Swords in reverse. You might need to look at something a little closer. You may be shown something you didn't expect. Something may be clear now, but there's a little bit of internal resistance, like, I wish I could put that back in the box. It's still a blessing to know something, even if it's inconvenient, even if it changes your trajectory. So there's a blessing in the knowledge, whatever you're being shown, even if especially if it makes you uncomfortable. This is also saying if something is going on in your life, in your body, in your finances, in anything, ask about it, look at it, look it in the face, look fear in the face, and sort of understand why it's there so that you can change it. You don't want to ignore something. Two of Swords, Eight of Swords, ignoring it makes it bigger. It brings it closer to like the 10 of Swords. So instead, focus on understanding it, basically neutralizing it and moving forward. But there could be a blessing in disguise. There could be a path that unveils itself in front of you. It's just not what you expected, and that's okay. So it's just the universe saying, I have a different path in front of you, okay? All right. Let's take a look at midweek here. We have the moon. So for Wednesday, this is a great card. This is showing you your ability to manifest because the moon is really good at moving things forward. Think of what it does to the tides. Look at how we have this sort of archer imagery on here, possibly Artemis or Diana. So we have this ability to really get targeted in on what you want. For my Sagittarians out there, this is also you saying, I'm in the flow right now because many of you might be celebrating birthdays. But yeah, you can focus on this ability to really bring things forward. But you have to trust your intuition. You have to go with the flow. And the sneaky thing that I was picking up on could come through midweek because the moon can represent a secret. It can represent something in the shadows. And so you're going to see through it, and you don't have to do like the Matrix level martial arts, but you're just going to say, stop it. Or I see you, stop what you're doing. Okay. But ultimately, intuitive development, creativity, and your own power is coming through in a really, really lovely way here. Okay. Now, as we go into Thursday, we have Page of Cups in reverse. This is a chance for you to simply focus on healing yourself and honoring the triggers in your life. So sometimes we have to deal with things that make us uncomfortable. And it's not fun, but this could come through as someone said something to you, or you're more hyper aware of how you feel at a place of work or in a social setting, or maybe even in the relationship. Something's coming up, and it's not there's some unexpected revelations coming through this week. They're all for your betterment. That's how I view these sort of energies anyway. So just feel that, like, really honor the feeling and decide, what am I going to do about it? This is where the power comes. And you're going to look at the emotion and say, does it serve me? Does the emotion serve me? If it doesn't, I'm going to empty it out. That's why cups are reversed, so that I can receive something higher. So for some of you, that's it. You're just going to look at the emotion and say, it doesn't serve me. I'm ready, and I'm deserving of something better and higher. There could be an invitation for love that's unexpected, or a social invite. And you were thinking to yourself, I'm going to go home, make dinner, hang out with the cat, whatever. And then all of a sudden you get a text from a friend saying, meet us at 7 o'clock, you know, I got to blah, blah, blah. So there could be an unexpected, but possibly a very good social invite. So be open to that and think to yourself also, does this serve me? Does being at home serve me? It's really just about going to that energy of, is it right for me? All right. All of this is leading towards a very nice energy at the end of the week. On Friday, we have the Emperor in the upright position. So you found that sense of power. We can see the Ankh on his bracelet. Power, stability, this feeling like anything that I need to make happen can happen. So it's just a great day overall. Emperor is very good for holding meetings, for having difficult conversations, for making decisions, for starting something new, for announcing things. Really, the sky's the limit with this because it's the King card here in the Major Arcana. So own it. Whatever you need to do, you can do. The highlight of the week so far. Now let's get into the weekend as we look at the energy of Saturday, Hanged Man in reverse. You're nearly through something, but you can't push it just yet. Much like the Seven of Pentacles, there's an opportunity today to learn one more thing, to make one more edit or do something that's just going to really make this finished and done so you don't have to repeat it. It's a perfect day for meditation, for slowing down, for taking a break, having fun with friends. I don't mind that either. Just something that's going to take you out of fixating on something maybe that's out of your control, or maybe that just needs to be where it is right now. And this can include you. So do something else, something different, and allow for this sort of card to work its way through. It's nearly passed on to the next one, but you have to just sort of like take one more moment and think, what have I missed? Is there something else to focus on? When it does come to general health, you want to take care of lower extremities, particularly the ankle, the Achilles heel, all of that stuff. You just want to make sure that all of those areas are focused on. And so good time for a new pair of shoes, by the way, or to, just maybe soak your feet in an Epsom salt bath, like take care of that part of your body. All right, as we take a look at a week from today, next Sunday, it's pretty amazing. We've got the High Priestess. This, just like the King, the Emperor card, is giving you the ability to call things in and to manifest and to take a forward-looking gaze at the possibilities. So rather than I coulda, shoulda, woulda, looking at all the things that didn't happen, rather than frustration over what's happening right now, this card basically owes its power to the fact that it's looking at that. That's what I want. These two work together. So the Moon card is targeting this and saying, I want that. And she's saying, let's get that. But you need to know where you're headed in order to really manifest well. This is a great day for spiritual practice, for creativity, for writing things down, for setting things into motion, and for meditation, of course, just sitting there and thinking about what is about to come through. All right, so beautiful messages. Let's quickly look at some highlights and lowlights, and then we'll get into the elemental forecast. All right, so highlights of the week, these 2 days, possibly even Wednesday, but so Friday and Sunday, Emperor card, High Priestess, holding court, setting things in motion, really being powerful, and then going beyond that and saying, what's next? Okay, so love those 2 days. I think the most challenging days are, there's 3. It's Monday, Tuesday, and next Saturday, because this is about patience and not overextending. This is about dealing with something that you may not want to see but have to see. And this is, again, patience and timing of things. So don't overdo it. Trust what you see. Be patient on the timelines, the cosmic timelines, as they unveil themselves. All right, let's now move into the elemental forecast, where we look at fire, earth, air, and water. Let me just move the cards here and make some additional space for that. And let me take a look and see which deck of cards wants to come through for this. Okay, here we go. Fire, earth, air, And water, big movement in water this week. Okay, let's focus first on fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, we have the Eight of Cups. Second chances for some of you, a chance to go back and finish or do something that has long sort of been on your to-do list. This can also be an encouragement to take a break, especially before a major decision. So some of you may be grappling with, should I or shouldn't I? The main thing that you should try to do is buy yourself some time. So any major decision deserves a chance for you to sleep on it and say, give me 5 minutes or give me a day and I'll get back to you. If there's something big in your life and you think, I think I'm done, but I'm not sure. This is a card also saying getting some distance and perspective is the advice. It's going to help you figure out where you stand, because sometimes you're in the throes of the energy of other people and it's difficult to make that kind of a decision. It's a cyclical card. Things are coming around again for you. And you can also say no to some of them or say yes to some of them. So depending on what you're trying to do, cycles can be made, cycles can be broken. Okay? The only thing to ever be mindful of with Eight of Cups is if you really are done with something, you want to say so in a way that is clear, because it's typically the card of open doors as well. So a silver lining here is, if you get rejected, if something doesn't work, try it again. Try it again in a week or a month or a year and you have better luck. Typically, this card shows that you can come back and do it better the second time. Or if you try to quit, this is more like what I was just trying to say. People may say, no, we don't want you to go. Or if you're trying to break up, the person's trying to get you to come back. So you really have to be clear on your energy and emotion with the Eight of Cups, because it tends to be more open-ended. All right, that's everything I have to say for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Moving on to earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Love, creativity, sensitivity. We have the Prince of Cups, aka the Knight of Cups coming through. Things are moving in the right direction when it comes to all of the stuff that I just mentioned. There could be a new friend, love, or creative energy coming through this week. It's really good overall. And this could also be a turning point for some of you where it's been a little bit challenging or trying. Suddenly now we see a change of mood, a change of perspective. And again, it could be someone new coming into your life. If you're not focused on love, the Knight of Cups is really good at expressing themselves. So if you want to try to get someone interested in investing in an idea, whether it's business or otherwise, your passion is really kind of like something that's engaging. So put your heart out there this week. It's going to help you get what you want. Also, smile and put yourself out there. You may be able to make a really valuable connection in love, in business, or in friendship. Great energy coming through for my earth signs. Let's move on to air. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Speaking up. Striking while the iron is hot. Now we have the Ace of Swords in reverse, but I kind of saw Hephaestus creating that sword as we were looking at this, or Vulcan. So this is breathing life into something and maybe reforging it. It could be a second, much like the Eight of Cups was giving, that sort of cyclical energy. This is your chance now to say, once and for all, let's do this. We're in December almost, right? Yeah, this week. Hard to believe. We're actually in the last month of the year. So this is saying it's now or never. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, are you ready? Say what you need to say. Do what you need to do. Don't sort of like beat around the bush. Be very sort of direct. And I really don't think there's anything negative to say about that. I'm actually getting very positive connotations with this. I think the timing is what's important. And anytime we have any of especially the court cards in reverse with swords, always get a second set of eyes when you're doing something, just to make sure that there's no errors in any communication that you're doing. But otherwise, it's a pretty good card. It's just saying it's time. It's time to take action. It's overdue. All right. There we go. Now let's go to water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Major changes. So the Tower card is really interesting. A lot of times people pull it and they're like, oh no. I just see it as something coming to a head, something coming to a close, and in such a way that you won't have to even pull a card. You're like, okay, yeah, I got to deal with this. You're watching this ahead of the week. So you have a chance to see the Tower coming. So, notice how there's smoke and there's lightning. Before any of this, we would have seen clouds, we would have heard thunder and all of that. So listen to the warning signs. And pay attention to what was coming through with Eight of Swords, right? I think that was on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, really paying attention to something that may not smell or seem or feel right, and just saying like, I think we need to deal with this, okay? If you can do that, you can get way ahead of this. The cool thing with Tower energy is it's a chance to reset, and it gives you a permission to move forward. I just thought of a friend that, this is back, the company I used to work at, and this person worked really, really hard, been there maybe for like 15 years, but she was bored with the job, and had a good amount of severance there. And there was a layoff, and she was so happy. She's like, I can finally do something that I want to do. And I would never have gone had I not been laid off. I just would have stayed because, you know, the benefits were too good. So it gave her permission to look, and she had a few months of padding because of the severance. But sometimes it can be a blessing because comfort can keep you stuck. And so this tower could just be coming in a gentle way to say there's something better. And we know you don't want this, the universe, the powers that be are saying. So, you know, basically embrace that. Now, very positive things with this can also represent like renovation. You might be renovating a house. It could be revision to a document. It can also be a decision to completely try something different. And so it's just that kind of out of the box, different thinking that's going to help you out as well this week. Okay, now let's get ready for our special topic today. And again, the special topic is what's on the horizon. This is very much appropriate for this card, the High Priestess. So it's kind of getting you set up for a week from today, which I like. All right, so let me quickly take a look and see what's coming through, or which cards I'm going to grab rather. While I'm doing that, a reminder, if you like this, like and subscribe. It's free. It helps the channel, and you'll never miss a future video. Maybe we'll do a nature deck for today. Let's see. Okay. Wildwood may be what we do for today. All right, so let's get started and focus on the special topic. Just give me 1 second here, and then we'll get started. All right, here we go. We're going to begin with the catalyst card for today. And this is a really cool catalyst. So we have here open channel, signs, codes, downloads, and sacred information. You are an open channel this week if you allow yourself to be. So remember, we saw next Sunday being the High Priestess. The whole topic, I hadn't really thought of it until I was talking about Sunday. This is High Priestess. What's on the horizon? What are the opportunities? How can we get to them? So we're going to focus as an open channel here in this reading to see them. Also, to see the blocks. So blocks and opportunities. I used to do blessings and blocks. This is kind of like that. So signs, codes, downloads, and sacred information. Open yourself up in dreams and meditation as well to receive all of this sort of guidance that wants to come through. Keep a journal of these things. It can also come while you're walking the dog, taking a shower, making breakfast, talking to your kids, working. Whenever the sort of muse comes through, make sure that you record it. That's something that I've gotten better with. Even if it's the middle of the night, open up my phone, tap something in or record something and hang it up. It takes literally like 30 seconds. And then in the morning, it's enough. Even if it's misspelled and like crazy looking, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that was about. Okay. And then it takes me all the way back in and I can access the complete dream for the most part. But if I don't put something, if I don't put a few words, I'll forget it. So that's how you can access it. Just a few key phrases will help you unlock things. And there could be, you might be actually engaging with a teacher or sage or someone that can kind of help you unlock stuff here, but you are an open channel basically. Okay. Let's look at your centermost card. So we have the King of Swords coming through. It is reversed. So much like what I was seeing for the air signs this week, it's a time to speak. It's a time to act. I don't mind a King or Queen of Swords reversed. Sometimes they get a bad rap. I mean, ultimately, they are very capable of making change happen and their voice is heard. Timing, like I said, and tact are very important. So choose your moment, choose your words wisely, and as long as you do that, you should be all right. I think that this is kind of also, for some of you, maybe speaking up or speaking out, because that kick that I also did in dreams could also be like a verbal kick where you have to say something that inspires or pushes back or sets a tone for something. So I think this is fine. Now, the reversal of this can also be a change of direction. So communicating a change of plans in advance. Anything is possible with enough notice, but if you kind of catch people by surprise, they can't help you as much. So I really think a big part of this is advanced notice, letting people know before so that they, especially if they're relying on the sort of same old, they need to have time to prepare. All right, Three of Wands, fulfillment. I really like the way this Three of Wands is illustrated because the third wand is the bow that he's carrying. So we have the archer coming through yet again, targeting so like when you're focusing on using archery, you have to it's two or three things. You have to target, right? You have to pull back, and then at some place you have to let go. So it's focus, it's getting everything prepared, and then at some point it's I'm ready. You have to pull the trigger. So I feel like this week you've done probably steps 1 and or 2. And the big moment, and that's why the King of Swords was beneath it, was, are you ready to pull the trigger and make something happen? Speak it into existence, type it into existence, whatever. Something is coming through and you are that third wand, and therefore it's up to you because it feels like you've already done the Two of Wands vision work here. And what's cool about the Three of Wands is there's an air of immediacy to it. So in the traditional illustration, there are ships coming in on the shore. In this one, you don't even need that. You're actually seeing something in front of you, and you're going to pull it forward by targeting it. So it's now. The time is now. Action is now. Are you ready? That's really what Spirit's asking. Let's look at what might be causing some friction or might be kind of like either, it could also help this here. Karmically and in the past, here's what we see. It's a really good card, actually. So Three of Pentacles is a card of learning, creativity, as we see here, teamwork and recognition. Now, it's interesting that she's really connected, almost rooted into the ground here, to the stones, to the earth. And it's a very earthy card, but sometimes we need to transplant, unearth, or move things. And some of you may have outgrown an experience. So I'm looking at this. There's not a lot of room for her to, I'm kind of like getting the idea of a pot where she's root bound. So I feel like you've learned everything you need to, because this is also a card of mastery. So apprenticeship is 8 of Pentacles, mastery is 3 of Pentacles. I don't know why they did it that way, but they did. This means that you've mastered whatever it is that you needed to learn in a situation. It's time to kind of like pull those roots up and transplant yourself somewhere else. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. So for those that are thinking about that, again, the comfort energy that I was talking about with that old coworker, same thing. Sometimes predictability becomes like a safety blanket, but it doesn't serve us after a certain point. People can kind of get used to it. And that's why musicians have to change their sound from album to album, right? Try new things, try a different producer. Same thing in our own lives. We have to mix it up a little bit. You've learned a lot. You can thrive anywhere that you want to. Don't be afraid to try new places and new positions in your life. It's going to be good if you give it a shot. All right. I mean, it's all archery today. So now we have the Ace of Bows here. This is the Ace of Wands. So here we go. So with this one, Ace of Bows in reverse, again, taking a moment to really decide, what do I want? And I think this is, we can look at this in this fashion, and it serves this reading here, because what happens often in life is that we just get used to a cycle and we do it without intention. So this is saying intention will help you go even further, make even more of an impact, and there could be this spark of intuition or creativity that's coming through that won't be ignored right now. So just because you've been on a path for a while, if you're finding yourself bored or disengaged or frustrated, or if you found that there's a dead end or a glass ceiling, this is saying, okay, for some of you, that's the Tower energy coming through in advance, allowing you to redirect. Take another shot. That's the other message here. Give it another shot. And see what will happen this time. And also, someone may be waiting for you to show up and show what you have to serve here. I have that old song from the 80s, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, coming through my head. But it's kind of an invitation, like, show me what you've got. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but people need to see that you have that power, okay? And now as we look at the crowning card here, we have the Six of Pentacles. Now, this card has an interesting caption on it. The reversal of this tells me that this won't happen. So we have exploitation here. I never read it as such. I always see the Six of Pentacles as discernment and good choices, and usually what you need as a bare minimum to be successful. But what you have to do is avoid the exploitation. All those open hands, you can't help everyone or do everything at once. You have to pick and choose. Energetic investment. It was not accidental that the Ace of Pentacles came up for today's reading as the daily card pull. So you should watch that too in combination with this, because I talked about the give and take. So if you're not getting something out of it, pause on that right now. Like this week is really about reciprocity and saving a little for you, saving a little bit for the future, because the High Priestess, or in this case, this lovely being, is saying you've got to keep an eye on the horizon. All right. By the way, thanks to everybody that's gifting memberships. I'll make sure to say my appreciation later, but Dakota can cover that while I'm doing this. All right. Focusing on the opportunities here in the near future, we have the Four of Cups. It's reversed, but let's look at it upright. It literally was hitting on what I was just talking about. You can be both busy and bored. It's the worst kind of energy because it takes a lot of effort and it's not fulfilling. We actually had a card of fulfillment. It needs to be fulfilling. If it isn't, it's not the right thing. The Four of Cups is also a hidden blessing. This one doesn't do it justice, so I'm going to pull the traditional one while we're talking. So in the traditional card, we see like an ace floating in the sky. And what happens always on this card is the person is lost in emotion. It doesn't have to just be boredom. It can be the grass is always greener when you're looking at someone else's life. I'll leave the camera down so you can see it while I'm talking. It can also be simply missing why something is or isn't happening. And so this is encouraging you to kind of open your heart and mind to other possibilities. And it's probably going to be, it's like almost the last card. Sorry, I dropped a couple now. So here's the sort of disgruntled Four of Cups, which I'll talk about in just a second. All right, so let's pull this up to the main camera so you can see it easier. I think this does a better job showing both the frustration and the blessing. And you got to get over the emotions. Here we're just seeing on this card specifically boredom or being disengaged. But if you can turn your perspective to something else, you might be able to see, oh, that's what this was all about. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be focusing on. So there's a light bulb epiphany aha moment that wants to present itself. But there's a short-term sort of frustration where it's like, why isn't this happening right here, right now? All right, let's see how you're showing up. guess what? We've got the Eight of Swords again, also in reverse again. And so this is opening yourself up to seeing what needs to be seen. Twice it came through. It came through in the 7-day forecast. It's coming through here in the special topic. So what's on the horizon? There's something that you need to deal with first. Let's put it this way. And struggle is about to be over. That's one thing here. So you're past the struggle, but you have to kind of process the emotions first, or you're not going to see what's out there. And dealing with something in real time, like if there's a problem, fix it now. Don't procrastinate. So all of these things are helping you to be successful. So please don't procrastinate on anything that is coming to your attention. Even if you had other plans, change them and deal with the problem or the challenge or the situation first. This represents you too, though. So one thing here is that you may not realize your own potential. And when I'm looking at how you're coming through, because you can read the whole reading in like these 3 cards here. So there's this spark, but there may not be action on that spark. So if there's something that you want to do, take action. And really, we have 2 cards here showing that with the 3 of Wands and the King of Swords reverse. So take action. You'll surprise yourself. You'll surprise others. And you may realize that you had a lot more capacity, skill, potential than you gave yourself credit for. Okay? Let's look at what's going on in the environment. There's a chance for travel right now. A chance to also connect with someone from afar. This can represent someone coming to you. It can represent you going to someone else. A distant shore is what's here. So we have transition, and this is also an invitation to explore beyond your boundaries, your current sort of city that you're living in or country that you're living in. Because however you might achieve success, it could involve something more global, something from a different, just a different background. In love, there could be love or friendship coming from another shore as well. And when it comes to your ideas, this is saying think bigger. And there is an audience that is larger than where you're at. So the success for you, the success for your project, the success in general involves reaching out further than you thought, possibly doing some travel, possibly for those of you in business, or again, trying to do something financial, it's involving a distant shore. So this is good. Things are moving though. One thing that I love with the Six of Swords rather is, I have to keep translating it because they're different in this deck, is its movement. Whereas 4 of Swords is sleepy, 6 of Swords is like, I'm over that, I know what I want to do, let's do this. So lots of energy around intention followed up by movement. This is no exception, but the movement is saying if something didn't work here, it may be somewhere else, and it may mean that you need to move or connect with someone that isn't where you're at to make it happen. We have death coming through here, but it's the journey. It's the end of one journey, the beginning of another. I saw that death was really close here. Okay, so here's our 2 different death cards. So death reversed is an end to stagnation. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll compare and contrast. So for some of you, you've been feeling, like I said, bored, stuck, uninspired, or just unclear. And this is coming through saying that means that it's time to move in a different direction. The emotions, I mentioned the folks that had the Knight of Cups this week that was reversed or whatever. It's about feeling out, why did this come through? Well, I guess maybe there's something bigger and better. So the end of one journey is the beginning of another. And you can't avoid change. The original death card does a better job of showing that. So we have kings, we have mothers, we have children, we have clergy, we have young and old. Everybody can change. We don't have to work. We're using the word death, but it's transformation and growth. It happens at all ages. So for some of you, you may be thinking, I'm too young or I'm too old. And this card is saying, not really. If you're ready, the universe is ready for you. Okay? I keep putting the crow on for shadow healing. It never wins. This is one message from the crow, since we have like a raven or crow coming here, that something doesn't serve you anymore and it's time to move in a different direction. This could also just be the grieving of something that has passed. So when you do go through any of life's big, milestones, whether it's birth or death or weddings or anything in between, graduation, it's the end of one part of your life. It's the beginning of something new. Let's look at the beginnings here. So we have two very different cards. Underneath the beautiful flowing Ten of Cups is the Two of Swords and another set of arrows. But on this one, we have injustice. I never view it as this. I usually view the Two of Swords as indecision. It's the wrong in word. So a lot of times you just don't know what to do. You may not see what's in front of you. You may not move past the fear of knowing. And the universe is saying, don't be afraid, because look at what's coming through. Love, friendship, happiness, or just abundance. What's nice about this card is we're just seeing the cups. There's not really people on this, and it's not just about being in a relationship after all. It's coming through reverse. So some of you have felt like you've been going upstream for a while. I do think that you're at a reset moment now, where there's this wonderful opportunity to connect with a larger group for your message to be heard. But it could be a lot, it could be intense. One thing here that this card does represent is peer pressure, family pressure. So if you're feeling that, step back and say, I'm my own person. Again, thank you for your concern. Hey, buddy. Apollo's been super busy here. So we'll bring him up for a second for a little bit of love. Also, this is reminding you that the Ten of Cups can take many forms, including furry people like this. So it may be a great time to figure out how you can connect with your chosen family. There could be pets in your future as well. There could be an opportunity for volunteer work, all of that. So never forget that love knows many shapes and forms, and that includes our little furry friends there. All right, let's move on to, speaking of, we're going to go into the expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off first with health, which is all parts of your well-being, mind, body, and spirit. And we have honesty is the best policy. Let me just double check and make sure that, let's see. Oh, it was reversed. Okay, I just wanted to look at the replay there. Okay, so it's just about saying what you need to say. So the reversal of this is sometimes feeling like, I'll try to save this person's feelings. And I agree that there's a way to say something, but sometimes you need to know. Let's use an example that we can all get behind. If you have something on your tooth and you're going to go out in public, you want your friend to say, hey, you want to get that off your tooth. Or if something's out of sorts and you're going to be on camera, you want someone to say, hey, don't forget to button that, don't forget to do this. That's someone who has your back. They have to say something uncomfortable, but it's for your betterment. In the same way, you could be you can ask a question rather than tell someone. So if they keep complaining about a relationship or a job, for instance, because these are things that we've all been through, you could say, what's keeping you there? You don't have to say it's time to leave. Help them find the way to it. So there's a lot of ways to be honest, and it can be through questions. Does this make you happy? Do you think this has been a cycle that's happened time again and again? What would be the worst thing if you went in a different direction? What would be the best thing? Just kind of like a therapist, you can just ask questions that help them see it, because they have to decide themselves. So if there's something difficult to say, try it in a question form instead of a statement, and try it as a way of just saying, I want you to be happy. This seems to make you unhappy. Help me understand why you're doing it so that I can support it, because right now I don't get it. That's a great way. You've just said that you don't agree with them doing it, but you want them to be happy. So it's like, hit me with your best shot on this one, because I don't get it. That's it. You just did it there. So there's so many ways. It's not just about going in and saying something hurtful. It's about going in and saying, I want to help you. This doesn't seem to work. Okay. So use that if you want to. Ultimately, if something isn't working, it's better to say it sooner. So if you went on a first date and there was no spark and the person's really into you, just say, I had a fantastic time. You're amazing. I'm not feeling that spark, but I'm so glad we met, and, I wish you the best. You don't even have to commit to more, because sometimes you're like, I don't have room for more friends, and I just want to make sure that I open that person up to more abundance. That's a nice no. Just, I liked you and you're great. I'm not feeling the spark. I wish I could, but that frees them up to find someone that can find the spark with them. Okay. So be honest if you can, because it's going to save you time down the road. All right. Let's look at just general health here. Because that came through in health, it could also mean that you're looking for a healthcare provider that is honest with you. I think that's super important, and whom you can feel like you can share all parts of your life that you need to when it comes to your health. So whether it's a therapist or a doctor or a specialist, make sure that honesty works both ways. And the universe wants me to be as honest as possible as I look at the cards here, so I'll try. All right, let's see what's coming through for health. This would be a great time for a creative outlet, because I don't always look at the captions on this, but this is time to end boredom and see things from a different perspective. So a hobby, a creative activity, something that can kind of give you something else to look forward to is great. You know what? This started as a hobby, folks. I don't talk much about how I got into it, but I was working a corporate job, and I just wanted to learn. So I studied with someone for 3 months, and it was fun, and I never missed an appointment. I was like, yeah, I want to learn more about this. So you never know what a hobby might bring you, by the way, in the long run. So do something for fun. It could one day turn into something much bigger, but just do it for now for fun. You might be overdue for a trip. It might be time to change the environment. This is stagnation in the environment. They're very close. So there could be, again, we'll look at business in a second, but there could be a lack of growth opportunity where you're at. You could be in a very, this is peer pressure and familial pressure. So you could feel like, I can't be who I want to be around these people, even if it's family, especially if it's family sometimes. So this is moving to get the freedom that you need. And this is also seeing what you don't want to see. So in our bodies, we're constantly getting communications of what we have to focus on. Sometimes we don't want to see it, but it's important to deal with whatever comes through and get the knowledge. Because these two cards lack knowledge, but they're about to get them. Because the Eight of Swords is reversed, and the Two of Swords here, we're seeing that it's going to be probably better than you think. 10 of Cups, even in reverse, can be okay. So it's better to know, folks. That's what I see. All right. Looking at it from a different perspective, work-life balance, really important right now. So make sure that you're taking enough time to enjoy your friends, your life, your pets, yourself. Take some time for you. Major changes on the horizon. Some of you see it coming. The writing is on the wall, and it's time to deal with it. So preparing for change is key. This is also, I'm not afraid, this is about being honest. So planning for the future when it comes to what happens when you're off the planet. So for those of you that have a family and you're taking care of them, this is will and trust discussions. And it's good to do it while you're healthy, while you're young. Get that stuff together so that when, late in life, it's all spelled out. So it's a good time for estate planning. If you just lost someone, it can also feel topsy-turvy here, and I can see all of this movement. Give yourself time. This is a time to lean on family members. I had a hard time when I lost my mom, kind of accepting help, and I wish I accepted more help. You know what? So if someone's going through it, if they say no once, ask them again. Give them a little bit of time, because when you're in the throes of grief, initially you need to be by yourself, but then too much time by yourself isn't good. So if you're in the grieving process, this is me also saying, go back to the person that offered help and say, you know what, I think I would love to hang out. And if you know someone that's grieving and they said no, ask them again. Time changes their answer on that. And just be there, be persistent, not in a nosy way, just occasionally check in, say, hey, I'm always here if you need anything. And that's sometimes the best that you can do. And I think that's everything, folks. All right, let's focus on what's coming through here in wealth. So we have the sea serpent. And it's almost like an Ouroboros because it's almost consuming its tail. And then we have this point in the center. So big changes in emotion, because I think of the sea serpent, I'm thinking of a knight maybe in the water, because I try to sometimes think a shark would be the king, but the serpent could be like a knight. It moves, it's very flexible. So moving things forward on an emotional state, even though we're not looking at love yet, dealing with your emotions is going to be really important when it comes to financial and just general, personal happiness. So follow your heart. And all things are cyclical here, because we see the head and the tail kind of coming through. It's also like head and tail, looking at two different sides of the same coin. So it's a chance to get new perspective and really to lean into what your heart has to say. Let's specifically look at your wealth cards. Of course, we're going to look at the financial card here, the Six of Pentacles. knowing when to say when, making smart choices. From this, you can grow to almost anything, so it's good. It's just about not overextending, which is a common theme today. If you can dream it, you can do it. Believing is seeing. This is all about manifestation. Let's get back into the High Priestess energy. What's on the horizon? What do you see? What do you want? What do you do? What are you doing to create that on the horizon? That's really what this is saying. So it's putting the impetus on you to see it and do it, to speak it. So there is a little bit of a push to plant the seeds of intention and to reach out, to have important meetings. Change, which is what death is yours if you want it. It's within reach. But the Four of Cups is looking in the wrong direction. So keep your mind toward the change, take the action, keep working on whatever it is that you're trying to do. Remember what I said. This is where the dream about getting a 70% or a C, above average, but not really much. It's okay. Like, it's not supposed to be perfect initially. Just keep working at the dream. It may take a couple of attempts, but you can do it. When you're traveling, make sure that for those of you that are traveling for work or for business, or for pleasure rather, there's something unforeseen in the travel. Okay, so let's put it this way. Make sure that you get cancellation coverage, and that in case something gets lost or if there's a delay, we want that. So travel insurance. Because I see something, it may not be the best time to travel, even though I was saying it can help you, not the easiest time, let's put it that way. Plan for delays, plan for unseen twists and turns, and in doing so, you'll be all right. I looked at the bag. Isn't that interesting? A bag could be lost or a bag could be stolen. So be mindful of that. And really make sure that maybe you're not keeping all of your valuables in that bag. It was super specific, and this is very niche, and it's very much just for a certain subsection of you that are traveling, but put it in something else, not the backpack. That's what I was saying, actually. Super specific, but that's how mediumship works sometimes. Let me see. Now let's just kind of look at wealth from three perspectives. If you're working, it's probably time to look at other options. This can be planning for retirement for those that are very close. This can also be busy, bored, and stuck. And this is saying you're only as stuck as you allow yourself to be. Try different things. See if there's a side business or side hustle that you want to try that could someday possibly be the main focus. But I'm getting that sense of being sort of like pushed up against a wall here. There's only so much that you might be able to do in any given space. So this is really a month to forge something new and a week to forge something new. So see if there isn't a new option that you can focus on if you feel stuck. Otherwise, this can be a transformative card. You may be the voice that speaks up and says what needs to be said, but what people don't want to hear. It's still important to speak up. Remember, there was more than one way to be honest, so you can ask questions if you're in an environment that doesn't like people to rock the boat. But it does feel like there's some sort of a tension here. It's either being on the precipice of major change or feeling like if I don't leave, I just feel like I'm stuck. So somehow I want you to lean into where you can change or be more creative, and I think that will help you out. If you are looking for work, yes, you can find opportunities right now. The Six of Pentacles means that it may not meet all your expectations, but it's enough. This could be a nice stepping stone to something bigger. Don't be afraid to look in a kind of like work category that you wouldn't normally look, because this is the card of unexpected opportunities. By the way, this seems to be hidden in the past because of the Eight of Swords. So you may have a special skill. This is true of those that are working and those that are looking for work. Don't be afraid to serve up. Oh yeah, I speak 2 languages, or I can program in this language, or I can do this. Remind people because they might have forgotten. And that could open up new doors for you, because some of this has to do with the lack of visibility. So when it comes to job searching, and also those who have a job, make sure that you are more, I don't want to use the word conspicuous, but that's what came through, outspoken, and that you're sharing your ideas, because these are cards of ideation. You have to speak up more, and that's going to help you. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else for those that are looking for work. Obviously, you might be looking at moving to a different city, state, country, or province. So yes, you can find work elsewhere. Just make sure that you are looking at all the hidden details. So with both of these, I think that there's There's something, because the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords, there could just be some things that are buried in the text, the legal text. So make sure that you're talking about that. If you're happily retired or not looking for work at the moment, travel comes through. Looks great. Couple of caveats, which we've already talked about. Some of you may be also thinking to give back, because the Ten of Cups is a card of service and community. It's also one of action and activity. So I think just getting involved with, and it could be anything. By the way, you could just decide to take a yoga class, but finding a community is great. Finding, for some of you, activism could also be great. Deciding to try to make a change in policy or something like that, that's coming through. I think that staying within your budget is important, particularly when it comes to expenditures like travel. Looking at retirement and being realistic and saying, am I there yet? For those of you that are just on the precipice of deciding to retire, the Six of Pentacles is just a little shy of what I would want. I would say Eight of Pentacles is the goal. So there's a little bit, it could be 1 or 2 years or just a little bit more investment that's necessary first. So be realistic on that, because Spirit wants me to be honest with you. So it feels like there's a little bit more option there. Okay. And now we're done with wealth. Let's go on to love. I think we covered that pretty much in depth. Hello. We have a common theme when it comes to this reading. It's balance. Some of you might be connecting with a Libra, because that's very much connected to justice. This card in reverse is saying the most important thing in relationships right now is to even out the balance and the exchange. So if you've been helping someone out a lot, it might be time to take a step back, let them show up. If you feel like financially one party is doing too much, really look at that and make sure that things are okay. One thing to be mindful of is it's not how much each is making, it's what percentage of that income they're putting forth. So someone that makes like $30,000 versus $100,000, it's not going to be the same amount. 10% of that is going to be different. So, like if you agreed we're going to go 50% towards this, it's 50% of the lower figure. And that's going to be less when you look at it in comparison to the bigger figure. So 50-50 is going to look different based on income. So be mindful of making sure you're working the percentages there. And but then we're looking also at energetic exchanges as well, which is a little more nuanced. All right, let's just focus on this let's just look at it broadly first, and then I'll go into the 3 categories. The main thing that I'm paying attention to is seeing change, because we have 3 cards that aren't looking in the right direction or aren't looking, and then we have change that wants to come through. So in all relationships, friends, family, and partnerships, love, people change. That's what we do on this planet. You live, you change energetically. So it's honoring the change and walking through that with one another. As long as you can see that, you'll be all right. I also think there could be distant components that are playing a big role here. A missing family from afar, missing a loved one from afar, and trying to bridge that gap a little bit. Let's look at this for those of you that are in a loving relationship first, then we'll look at looking for love and single and happy. If you're in a relationship, speaking the truth, speaking up, communication plays a really major role here. We want to make sure that it's, as I said, it doesn't have to be cruel. It just has to be true, and it has to be supportive here. So constructive and outspoken and communicative. These sort of energies are going to help you out. Talk about your hopes and dreams. That's the 3 of Pentacles. Talk about what you've learned. 3 of Wands. What you've learned is the 3 of Pentacles. So hopes and dreams, what you've learned. Talk about what you want to do next. This is your goal energy here with the Ace of Wands. That's so important in existing relationships. It can't just be rinse and repeat, same old every day. Keep talking about those sorts of things. If you feel like the person is distant and they're in the room, it's about opening up the lines of communication. If you feel like you've fallen into a rut, it's talking about these things again to get you out of the rut. If you want to try something new, it's about communicating that. Some of you may have just experienced a major loss or change in your life. You have to be there for each other in this moment. And it's about figuring out how much you can support the partner, what you can do, and then maybe helping them find that right connection. Because the balance card means that some things may be out of your control too. So know how much to give and then again, when to help them with other things. Can things be sorted out this month? I think so. I think that the main thing here, we have the scales here on this card. Four of Cups is things are better than they seem. The Ten of Cups is a favorable card. But the main thing here is you don't have to catch up with the Joneses. This is comparing yourself to friends and family. And this is where the friction may be this month. Someone else may have started a family, gotten a raise, bought a house, all these sort of things that we put out there in the universe as I'm successful. But they did that before you and you're wondering like, why not me? Well, look at all the blessings that are in the current relationship and don't compare and contrast. It doesn't really serve you that much. Are you happy? All the things that I was asking before. Do you feel happy? Do you feel supported? Do you feel like you're doing the best you can? If you do, you're doing better than you think. Don't give yourself a poor score in comparison. For those that are looking for love this month, it'll happen in an unexpected way if you're open. It's karmic in nature since the Death card is related to past lives. The energy that wants to come through, we have Justice here, so it could be a Libra. We have a lot of swords coming through, but they're not necessarily court cards. We do have one here, so I think it's an air sign. Could be a Libra. But the main thing here is just to open yourself up to possibilities. For you, I think that it's really important here to see your worth before you enter into a new relationship. This is also true of existing ones. In existing relationships, just to kind of go back for a second, saying I love you and I appreciate you is important. I see you. In new relationships, you need to see that self-worth in yourself to call in someone that has that capacity. So see your worth, know it. Say that other people have, a lot to offer to, like be communicative and grateful to others. Gratitude goes a long way. This person is probably from somewhere else if they're coming into your life right now. And that's what I have to say for those looking for love. If you're single and happy, again, a lot of energy around travel coming through this month and big changes. This is just a chance for you to reinvent yourself and do something completely different. It may be much to the chagrin of your family because they don't understand why, but it's your life to live, right? And that's all I have to say for that. Okay, looking at the Destiny card, we have the Hermit. The Hermit's reversed, coming out of your shell. For many of you, this is an indication that you've learned all that you needed to learn, that people need your insight, your power, your knowledge right now. And it's just a matter of allowing yourself to be seen. The Hermit always has the energy of the star. We have a Merkaba in the background here kind of overprinting him, but the star is there. It's always on any good Hermit card, you should see a star. So he's right in the middle of this sort of star that he's created. So all he needs to do is step out and let people see what he has to offer. Are you ready to let people see what you have to offer? I hope so. Hermit in reverse is also saying it's time to get out of the house or the office. You've been too much in one space, in one condition. It reminds me of a line from Pride and Prejudice where she's like, let's take a turn about the room. I want you to get out of the room and take a turn about the neighborhood or somewhere else. Walk around a little bit, see who you might bump into, see what thoughts and energy come when you leave this sort of space, which can be stagnating, no matter how well decorated or cozy it is. There's something or someone out there in the world that's waiting for you. So it's about exploring the potential and the possibilities. All right, we're going to do one more card for today, and this is a big idea. We're actually going to do two. I have a final card in just a moment, but the big idea is answering the question, what's the one big thing on the horizon that we all need to focus on right now? Possibly love, possibly just something really, really fun, because we have the Queen of Cups. And lo and behold, it's salmon and it's going upstream, which usually means, well, this would be for reproduction here. For some of you, okay, you might be thinking of starting a family. You may be opening yourself up to love, or you may be trying to birth a creative project, and it requires the energetic push of going upstream. It's worth it, though. This is a fruitful time, and this is part of the reason I want you to get outdoors. That opportunity is ready to meet you. So keep exploring different paths and different opportunities. But for those looking for love, this is a pretty good card too. And it's also just a personification of you. Like attracts like. So you're coming through as creative, sensitive, powerful, intuitive, all the things that I would associate with the Queen of Cups. So own that, if you will. All right, we're going to do a couple of things here. First things first, just a quick reminder. If you haven't yet hit the like button or subscribed, I'd love for you to do that. We're going to get into a couple of things next. We're going to do, not this one. It's because I'm in the monthly instead of the collective. We're going to do a big idea, which we just did, and then meditation, sound bath, and final card. So the meditation today is going to help us get past our blocks and see what we need to see. The final card is one more question. It's a bonus that you can ask me. So for this meditation today, let's see. I really like the energy of the star here. So we're going to focus on using star energy. If you would please close your eyes and open your mind. And I'd like you to focus on the vision of a starry night above you. Imagine that you are in a part of the world where you can see the night sky clearly. There aren't that many anymore. So maybe you're in the distant part of Scandinavia, or some part of Canada, or anywhere where there isn't a lot of city energy, like northern. And imagine that maybe you even see the northern lights as well. So interspersed amongst the stars, you see Aurora Borealis, and you focus on one star shining extremely bright. And as you close your eyes, you can feel the energy from that star opening up almost like a stargate through the starlight. So there's this beautiful light that shines upon you. It wraps its energy around you like a cocoon. And with your permission, it's like, will you allow me to take you to the area of possibilities, or to the land of possibilities? So your body's on the planet, but your energy gets boomeranged into this beam of light towards the star. And as we meditate, I want you to explore what your wildest dream or possibility looks like, and just kind of keep that as a sacred message for yourself, as something that you can focus on. If you have a hard time with envisioning sort of things, I'd just like you to focus on what it feels like to be in the energy of light, like the sun. It's warm, it's bright, it's safe. And just feel that sense of safety. And then in that sense of safety, put a wish or a dream, and allow it to be heard. Know that your higher self and spirit is listening. Take a moment to call back your energy from wherever it was, feeling a connection to the earthly plane, putting your feet on the ground, taking your hands, rubbing them together, and placing them on your heart center. All right. Now, I would love for you to gently open your eyes. Turn your attention now to a final question that you have for me, whatever that might be. And keep that in your heart and mind for a second. Don't type it out. Just think about it. And let's go ahead and see what Spirit has to say. All right. Very interesting energy to come through for the final card here. We have the Five of Swords. This card gives a special meaning to it, frustration. Some of you may be, again, wishing or wanting to be somewhere else. And the understanding in today's reading is one step at a time. Today is the beginning of this sort of journey towards something bigger, better, brighter. And we see so many archers in this deck. So it takes a few attempts. They don't teach this in high school anymore, I don't think, because it's dangerous. But when I went to high school, they did. So I remember when you first start doing archery, you're terrible. It takes, unless you're just born with a gift. But most of us, you're going to miss the center target. You have to keep trying. And it's about multiple attempts here. So don't get frustrated, keep trying. Now, the Five of Swords is not about that. This is just a unique illustration. So this, we can see a little goat, maybe, dodging the bullets of miscommunication and just conversation that's not worth it. The Five of Swords is somebody that just is not ready to receive what it is that you are trying to put out there. They may be argumentative. They may love to push your buttons. And in this card, we see two people that have fallen victim to the dude in the front here. This person's really having a bad day. This one is just over it. And he's having a good time with this. In this card, we see the animal dodging the bullets and saying, nah, not going to get me this time. I know how you work. I know what your target is, but it's not going to work for me. So there are two messages. One is not to give up on something, especially if you're in the energy of the Five of Swords, which is someone that could come through and say, you're not good enough to do that. You'll never make that. That'll never happen. Why are you wasting your time on that? Or you tell someone something and it can be negativity. So I want you to separate yourself from the negativity. And I think that'll help you out. It can also be negativity that's in your head. So for those of us that sometimes are our own worst enemies, it can just be that internal dialogue. I'm not good enough. I'm not this enough. So this card is coming through saying, dodge those mental bullets and really focus instead on what's possible and make a safe landing. Okay. The next energy or the next card would be this. If you can do that, we see movement, Six of Swords. So isn't it interesting that you have to go through some challenges, indecision in the Two of Swords, disappointment in the Three of Swords, inaction or rest in the Four, and then miscommunication in the Five to get to the movement. Swords does have a higher purpose at the end of the day. But there are a few cards. I mean, Six of Swords and the Ace of Swords are probably the best in all of them, I would say. But we need 5 and 7 so that we can see trouble and we can avoid it. They all serve a purpose. So you know it. You saw trouble, you're going to walk away from it. You're going to focus instead on something better. All right, folks. I really appreciate your presence today. Before I get into everything, one last time, hit subscribe if you haven't already and like. And you can give me a follow on social media. It's a great way to keep in touch, especially if I do an impromptu. I try to always blast it out to social before I go live. I'm going to talk about this in just a second, but I saw we had some very generous people that gifted memberships. We also had some super stickers and super chat and people that also joined as a member. Thank you. I couldn't do all of this without you, and all of those memberships and stickers help more than you would ever imagine. So thank you so much. A reminder, if you ever want to follow me on social media, make sure that you're looking at the right handles. You can go to my website, and just remember, I don't offer private readings. If anyone tries to get you to pay for a reading in a direct message, it isn't me. Block, report, and let me know about it. All right, let's take a couple minutes here just to say thanks. Thanks to everybody for showing up, no matter whether you're watching this live or on replay, whether you gifted something or didn't. I don't mind. I'm just glad that you're here. So thank you for showing up and doing the work. I want to take a couple moments to especially give thanks to those that did give back in memberships. I'm going to start first by just welcoming all the new members. And then if I can see them all, I will say thank you by those that gifted them as well. All right, so let's get started here. Okay, Pen, welcome. Empress, Monique, Expansion Rising, Sunflowers, and Paradoxal Debacle. Welcome to all my newest members, whether you're joining or rejoining or were gifted a membership. I appreciate you and I see you. I'll say thanks to those who gifted in a moment, but I'm going to say first thanks to all the super stickers because it's all right here in this tab. All right, to those who gave back today, Renita and Dudley, thank you both for giving a little bit extra. I appreciate that, and I saw it, so thank you so much. Darren and Colette, and also Monica, thank you as well for showing up and giving a little bit. I appreciate that. Now, let me see if I can see those who gifted memberships. I know Dakota did a great job of saying thank you. Marisha, I see you as well. Thank you. All right, let me go to fan funding here and see what I can see. So it looks like Lalitha, you are a member for 2 months. So thank you so much. Glad you were able to celebrate that. Raven, I knew somebody gifted some today. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I do appreciate that. And what a nice gift here in this kind of holiday season that we're in. So thank you guys. I think I caught everybody. All right. That's it for today. A quick reminder that I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And if you ever need to sort of see anything on replay, it's always available on replay. I also do daily card readings. I referenced that. That's on the Shorts tab. And I'm here every Sunday. Unless something extraordinary happens, like there's a change of weather or there's a holiday that I absolutely need to kind of attend, I'll always give you a heads up on that. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I'm going to walk Apollo now for his breakfast walk. And I wish you all the best. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. And thank you, Dakota, for your help with moderating today as well. All right. Much love and light. Bye-bye.